My name is Ken Hurley. Currently live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Born in Livingston, Kentucky, and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana. Making the project because, funny enough, somebody sent me a link on Facebook. I've always loved Johnny Cash, and when I saw this the Johnny Cash project, it's a really cool artistic idea, and and I'm drawn to artistic projects, me being a most of the time artist myself. So I had to do something when I saw what it was. So it's kind of complicated as far as it's really in depth as far as my love for Johnny Cash and what Johnny Cash means to me. It's ever changing. It's always, the older I get and I don't know if it's the wiser or the more I realize the less that I know. Johnny Cash, his music is evolving. I mean, it used to mean one thing when I was younger. When I was rebellious, I chose the songs that were rebellious, you know, the breaking the law, outlaw songs. The older I got, then I related to the songs that were about, you know, seeing the error of your ways and you know, trying to be a little smarter and wiser. And, songs about, you know, feeling sorry for the things that you've done, redemption, you know, and ultimately salvation. You know, he ran the gambit, and so it's funny as I find myself, you know, as I go through different stages in my life, relating, you know, to him, different parts of his life in different ways. It's amazing to me. You know, southern folks from Kentucky and West Virginia, my family. My mom was a fantastic singer, and all my family were musically inclined or picked up instruments easily, and they started a Southern gospel group. And it's funny, it's somebody asked my mom if she could classify the type of music that we did, and they said, "So you sing country gospel?" And she said, "No, I sing Southern gospel." To her, it was a huge difference. So she related to Loretta Lynn, coal miner's daughter, coming from nothing, trying to make something of yourself, being proud of where you're from. So being that they started a Southern gospel group, you know, at the age of 10, I started playing with them on and off until I got old enough to know what I was doing and actually could actually contribute musically. You know, I was a singer, so like I started singing with them full time at the age of like 12, 13 years old, and we would tour all over the place and sing music, Southern gospel music, very soulful, very spiritual. We played everywhere. You know, always had that family harmony. It was just, I love it. Borderline bluegrass almost. The thing about that is that growing up in the house is that they wouldn't let me listen to secular music, so I couldn't really, you know, I didn't listen to the radio, you know, unless it was this one country station, and the country station played old school country, you know, old Conway Twitty, you know, old Willie Nelson, you know, this is in the 70s, you know, so like, you know, along with their gospel records, you know, like, and I remember one of the records that I think my dad had was Johnny Cash, San Quentin, and it was, and I don't even think I remember all of it, but I remember Boy Named Sue. And when I was a kid, you know, I'm always the prankster and always the jokester. When I was a kid, I found that song. I found it to be just the funniest song in the entire world. So that was my initial rush to Johnny Cash. And because he was, you know, sharecropper's son, you know what I mean? You know, because I think the type of country that he made, I think it was okay for my family, for me to listen to him. Like it was okay to listen to Loretta Lynn, and it was okay to listen to Dolly Parton, and Porter Wagner, Roy Clark, and Johnny Cash was right in there. But for me, he was there was something more, you know what I mean? For a kid, it was like he was on the bad boy side. And so that's kind of what attracted me, you know what I mean? Always wearing black. You'd see him, he's kind of this big, menacing, kind of deep voice. When you start listening to some of his songs, especially back then for a kid, you know what I mean? It was, fighting, talking about guns and cowboys and that kind of stuff. The older I got, the less, the more rebellious that I got. And that's when I really started, went into the Marine Corps. After the Marine Corps, started working for Harley Davidson, worked for a tattoo shop. And in there is where I, going through, I've always been into music, but I stopped singing gospel music when I was 18. That's when I went to the Marine Corps. And that was my ultimate rebellion, is to go. I found Johnny Cash again in my angst, and that's when I started listening to more of the outlaw, revved up rockabilly, that side. Waylon Jennings at the same time, that kind of thing. I kind of lost it for a while as far as my music took me lots of different places, bluegrass to hardcore rockabilly, to like punk rockabilly. I was a big Social Distortion fan. It wasn't until I got a little older that all of that came full circle again, and after having a love for bluegrass and really appreciating what my family did again, is when I found the roots of Johnny Cash again. This time it was more of a redemption, the part of my life when I started thinking about how stupid of a kid I was, and growing up and finding the love of my life and getting married. But during that, I found the more, I guess, the grown-up side of his music, and the stuff that he did with June, and so that's where I am. Although Johnny's no longer with us in physical form, he's still here in spirit with his music. I'm always discovering new things in his music, and new stuff that he did, or old stuff that he did that I hadn't heard in a long time, or maybe never heard. When I made the frame, I was looking through the pictures, and I saw a picture of him standing by the water, and something struck me about the gospel music, and there's a song about a lighthouse, and somehow that struck a chord with me, and I felt like I needed to kind of make an image of Johnny Cash with the lighthouse. That's kind of like a lighthouse symbolizes, warning people of danger against the rocks, and in religion, Christianity, like Southern gospel songs, you talk about the lighthouse being standing on the hillside that overlooks life's seas. It's trying to warn you from the transgressions and the sins, which are the rocks. And somehow it seemed right, just like he needed to be, kind of overlooking the lighthouse. And it's like he's doing it as the sun is rising or the sun is setting, depending on how you look at it. For him, I look at it as like being hope. So even though he's not here, like I said, I still get message from every song that he does. The funny thing is that in the whole time our family grew up, there was one song that we always did that we would kind of close out the night, and it was our song of redemption and praise, and it was twin acoustic guitars, a humming. It was a really upbeat, fast song called "Ain't No Grave," and I was amazed and kind of blown away when I found out that that's the same song that Johnny Cash did. Of course, he did a different a version that only Johnny Cash could do, which is, of course, I Expect Nothing Less. But I'm just kind of blown away that that was the song that kind of brings it all back around for me. So once again, thank you for showing interest, and I hope this helps. Ken Hurley.